Hi guys, it's Jill here from Lavender and Friends, your source of essential oil education and inspiration. I wanted to do a video today to chat to you about how to teach a Nature's Solutions class. This is using the brochure we get from our Empowered Success website and that we can also download from Doterra. Now, a couple of tips to begin with. The first of all, keep it short, keep it simple. We want our class to be over and done within 45 minutes because the longer we talk, the more people are going to tune out and the overwhelmed brain says no. Our aim is to make this an intro class and we want to be really duplicatable. We want anyone watching this class to think, wow, that was really easy. I could do that. We don't want to appear like we're an expert. We just want to be someone who's really passionate about oils and wants to help them. The main aim is actually to build a relationship with the people so that you can develop trust with them. Now, it's up to you how you like to prepare for a class. Personally, I practiced lots and lots before I taught my first class. You might prefer to wing it. It's whatever works for you. But I will say this, done is better than perfect. You will never be perfect and you'll never feel like you're ready for your first class. Sometimes you just got to dive in and give it a go. So, there comes a point where you can practice all you like, but you still have to get out and actually teach a class. Now, another thing is if someone asks you a question and you don't know the answer, it's perfectly okay to say, that's a really great question. I actually don't know. Let's look it up together. Or let me get back to you and I'll find out the answer and send it to you. Because again, we're being duplicatable. We don't have to be seen as an expert. Now, in terms of how you dress or, eye contact, body posture, that sort of thing, there's loads of YouTube videos. So I suggest you have a look at things like rapport, class building, volume, tone of voice, that sort of stuff, and you'll get a lot more detailed information. Another thing as well is host coaching is really critical, and I'm going to do another video specifically on that, but you want to make sure that both you and the host have the same expectations of what's going to happen during this class. Now, for me personally, I actually ask that my hosts don't serve food or alcoholic beverages prior to the class, and I also ask that kids are, where possible, kept away. Keeps the distractions down. Again, it depends on you and how you want to run your classes, but this is something you need to communicate with the host prior to getting there, so that way you're not rocking up and suddenly going, oh my goodness, what's going on? Now, at the start of the class, I like to introduce myself and just say, hi, my name's Jill. Thank you for coming. I run Lavender and Friends. I get to teach people about oils. And then get your host to actually tell their friends a little bit about you. So I might say to my host, look, would you mind sharing with your friends why you wanted to have this class, how you've been using your oils, and what you'd love for them to learn about? And this is called edifying. This is where the host is edifying you and setting you up to be someone that should be listened to and someone that they're going to learn from. And it just helps to build that relationship. Now, when I'm setting up my class, I keep it really simple. I have my diffuser, I have my oil box, and generally I bring my home essentials kit, mood management kit, sometimes I'll bring the emotions kit, and any other particular oil that there might be a special on. I'll bring my booklets, and then I'll bring my Essential Life book. If after chatting to the host, I know that there's someone coming who maybe has pets or young kids or likes DIY, I might bring a couple of specialist books, but again, keep it very, very simple and not overwhelming. Now, as I said at the start, introduce myself, get my host to edify me, and then I like to start by asking 3 questions. The first one is, have you heard of Doterra? And I'll go around and individually ask each of the people because this is where it's a really good chance to find out where they're at with essential oils. Maybe they've used them before, maybe they love them, maybe they've heard great things, maybe they've heard some bad things that you might need to, let them know the correct answers. And the other reason this is really important is that it is doTERRA culture to always refer people back to enroll with whoever first introduced them to the oils. So if they're already working with another oil educator and they've come along to your class, that's great. You can still help them. They can still have a great time. But if they choose to enroll, then it is the right thing is to refer them back to whoever they're already working with. Now, it is up to someone who they choose to align with and who they want to enroll with. And maybe they have been to another class, but it just wasn't really for them and they've really clicked with you, that's okay. You're totally okay to enroll them. But you always want to ask that question, and you always want to let the person enrolling make that choice. Now, the second question I like to ask is, what do we want to learn about today? And this is where you can find out if there's any particular topics that they're really interested in. The third question is, why do you think people are turning to natural solutions? And then just let them tell you what it is they're interested in. And this is also really powerful because we can tell them the answers. We can talk about how medications are side effects and there's so many toxic chemicals. But if we ask them a question and they're giving us the information themselves, it's much more powerful. This also then feeds really nicely into me sharing my story about why I started using essential oils. And then once I've shared a bit about me, my background, how I got into oils, and I do always mention how this is something I do as a business, and that we'll chat more about the business later, because again, that's setting up that seed, I guess. Then what I do is then I hand out the brochures. So as I pass them around, I'll say, and little tip, you can actually put your business card just stapled right there. It fits really nicely. So I say, this is our brochure. This is what you get to take home. So please feel free to make notes, write all over it. Our first page is what we're going to be learning about today in terms of about oils, why doTERRA, how we use them. Our next page has some of the beautiful oils we're going to meet and get to experience today. Then we have our kits. Now our kits are the best value for getting started with. And at the end, we'll go through and figure out which kit might work best for you and your family. Then here we have our price list. Now it is always my intention that everyone gets their own wholesale account, and when you do, you get an automatic 25% discount off retail. So when you're looking at the price list, make sure you're looking at the bold price, the wholesale price, because that's what you pay when you have your own account, not the retail price. Also, as I'm talking about oils, please feel free to circle them or star them or do something so that way you can remember which oils we've talked about today. Finally, we have the page that you'll fill out to actually get your own account opened, and we'll be doing this at the end. So let's flip back to the start and get going. Now that basically shows them what's in there so they're not tempted to be looking through. It explains about the prices, and you're also again setting up the expectation that getting an account is the best value, you get a discount, that's what your intention is. And I think it's really powerful that people are aware of what you're actually wanting them to do. Then we start talking. So I talk about how you have choices, and look, honestly, if you are new, you can just read off of it. It's not a big deal. So you can say you have choices, we have our modern approach, we have our holistic approach. Now this little symbol of a wild orange is my reminder to give everyone a drop of wild orange. So when I get to this point, I'll say we're gonna have a chance to experience some wild orange. I'll take their hand and I'll sort of take their hand in my hand because it's that human touch. I'll put one drop in and I'll say, all right, let's rub it together. Take a deep breath, and I want you to tell me how you feel. And then I get them saying things like, I feel calm, I feel alert, I feel hungry. And it just gets them to really, I guess, get that experience. Plus, wild orange always makes everyone in a good mood. Then we come down to essential oils are effective. And here where it says peppermint tea, 28 cups of peppermint tea is equal to 1 drop of peppermint oil. And this is where I often like to get them to actually try a taste of peppermint. Again, it is up to you. And I don't recommend giving them a whole drop. Give them maybe like half a drop. But I'll say, all right, let's try some peppermint. Make your hand like this, makes a little divot. You can actually put 1 little drop of peppermint there, and then you can lick it off. Again, up to you. Some people say to put the peppermint in the hand. I do find though the peppermint is such an overpowering smell that then it sticks on their hands for ages. So I find giving them a chance to try a little drop. Plus then they're getting to experience how much it freshens and cleans them up. Then we come to where we talk about why we use doTERRA. So we talk about the indigenous sourcing, and you can mention the co-impact sourcing here. We talk about the testing and the purity. And I also like to add in here how doTERRA is a scientific company, and they're really focused on integrating essential oils into medical practices. Look, again, that's something I'm super passionate about. If you're really passionate about the ethical sourcing, or you're really passionate about the quality, go with what you're going to be passionate about, because you're going to talk about it enthusiastically and people are going to pick up on that. Then we come down to how we actually use them. So we talk about using it aromatically. We can chat again a little bit about peppermint. We talk about using it topically. We talk about our ice blue, and again, we pass our ice blue around, let them have a smell. I like to pass the ice blue rub and encourage people to rub some on the back of their neck because everyone loves that rub. And then we talk about the food additive, and we pass around and talk about our lemon. Then we get to our next page. And this is where we talk about these 3 shelves. And what I say is, and I get people to write it down, I'll say, this top shelf is about be prepared for everything. So that's about being prepared, and I'll get them to write be prepared for anything.